Yes, hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Now, today is a piece of content that I've wanted to make for a long time, and I'm ashamed that it's took me so long to make it. But what we are here today to look at is, damn it, I was hoping that was going to work better, is my top 5 G-Shock watches. Yes. Be prepared for some G-Shock goodness. Now, these are actually quite difficult to work out because I've got quite a few G-Shocks. So we have my top 5. There is an honourable mention as well, which we'll have a look at the end. But I'm quite glad in a way that when I sat down and I looked at my G-Shock collection and I tried to work out what my top 5 were, is the fact that there's a nice kind of variation in the different types that I have here, which I thought maybe that I was always going to go for one. G-Shock squares, you're my favourite kind of thing. But yeah, it's actually surprised me, so that there's a nice selection of different watches here. Now, as I usually do, what I will do is I will turn the camera around so that we can take a closer look at these. However, whilst I'm doing that, I wholeheartedly recommend subscribing. I am doing a giveaway at this moment in time. I'll leave a link below so that you can see more about the giveaway. It was with a wallet from an awesome US company called Axwell Wallets, and as part of it, if you're a subscriber, and all you have to do is, you know, I'll leave all of the details below. Watch that piece of content. I mean, it's an amazing piece of content, but if you're a subscriber, really all you need to be doing is subscribing, and you know, you can be entered into that. You just need to make sure you watch that piece of content. But as usual, you know, like, subscribe and share and all of that sort of stuff. And if you find this amusing or entertaining, or you know, there was a watch that you'd been thinking of for a while, that you thought, oh brilliant, I'd like to buy that by a pint, that guy a pint, then check out the new thank you button below the screen as well, so you can buy me a pint. That would be great, and I will drink a pint in your honour. But for now, let's take a closer look at my top 5 G-Shock watches. Okay, now my top 5. These aren't in any particular order apart from this first watch, which is the Mudman, the Casio G-Shock Mudman. And the only reason that this is in first place, and again, so this isn't like in first as in this is my favoritist, this is just the one that we're looking at first, is probably because this is the one that I've owned the longest. When I first got this, it was the one that had the white, creamy, coloured bezel and straps, but it got very dirty, so I decided to buy a new bezel and a new strap and kind of modded this, so you can't actually find it like this, and that's the main reason that the internal face here is white, which you don't get on this actual model that has these colours on the outside. But yes, own this the longest. So as far as information on this is the Casio Mudman. So where all the masters of G watches started, where you had the Frogman, the Rangeman, the Mudman, now where you've got the actual Mudmaster. So this was one of those original watches that started that kind of series of watches out. So on the back, the module on this one is the, if I can see this, sorry, I was just trying to look at it on the camera. This is the module on here is the 3031. The actual number of the watch is the G9000, and then here, hopefully if you can see, there is a little mole with some wheels and a steering wheel, and it says Mudman on there. So this was one of the original ones that was designed to make sure that it was completely mud resistant. So all of the fixtures on here have that additional layer to make sure that mud and dirt and debris can't get into the insides. Now the display on this is super crystal clear. It's one of the nicest displays that I have on any of my G-Shock watches. The buttons are all super nice to press in. With all of these, you can also see at the top right hand corner, you can see what the time is as well when you're going through here as well. It has a lot of features, so it has your world times, it has stopwatch, countdown timer, 5 independent alarms. but the two stopwatches, there are two independent stopwatches on here. So whilst they're going, if you want to stay in the main view here, there is a stopwatch that moves across the top and a stopwatch that moves across the bottom here as well, so that you can see that whilst you're in other modes. Just generally, I just really like the look and feel to this. You've got the light button here at the bottom, which is starting to come back. I really appreciated it with some of the older watches where they had these on here. I wish they would use the light button here at the bottom more. But the best thing about this really just came down to the comfort of the watch. So on the back here, you have these little nubs that to make sure that when you're swimming or anything like that, it just lifts it up off your skin, and it allows water to get out. The strap itself on the inside, if we can see here, has this really nice texture to it. So again, if you're sweating, anything like that, a lot of the sweat does manage to come out. And on the reverse side, you have a nice texture to it, and it has a double tang clasp on it as well, and it's a metal double tang clasp. So the only reason that this is at number one at this moment today is just the first one that I'm showing off, and this is the Casio Mudman, or Casio G-Shock Mudman. Now next on my list, and this happens to be the next one that I picked up. This is the GAB2100. So the GA2100 was possibly Casio's, if I can get this in focus, really, sorry about this, I might have to manually focus this. Yeah, let's use manual focus. So the GA2100 was possible, and in fact must be over the last decade Casio's most popular watch. It's just the Casio itself has just become kind of god tier as far as Casio collectors are concerned. It is a dual split watch, so you have a really nice, easy to read analog display, but then here at the bottom you can go through the different options that are on here, or at least the different views. How do I do that again? There it is. So you've got your time, or you've got your date, or you can show it so that you've got the day on there as well, but there is a little digital readout on here. This is the second one that I bought. I bought the original GA2100 and didn't like it. It mainly came down to the strap. The strap on it was just terrible. But I recently did a mod on this where I've added these really nice J's and K's lug adapters to it, and then I've got some of these Archer bands, and it's turned into the watch that I really wanted it to be. So I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship with this, but with the GAB2100, which is the recent update to this, they've been able to add tough solar to this, so the battery will last indefinitely, and they've also added a Bluetooth module to this as well for some additional functionality. Now, I'm a little bit torn on the Bluetooth functionality. It's something that I haven't used, and it's something that I will definitely never use on this watch. I think it's a shame that they couldn't have added the multiband 6 to this. In fact, that will make sure. Let's have a look at this next watch. So this is the GWM5610. I like the things that these share in common. So these harken back to those old school late 1980s G-Shocks. So everything is black with red, gold and teal hints on there, but it's a shame that they couldn't add the multiband 6 to this rather than the Bluetooth. If they did that in the future, I would, with any sort of second guess, I'd just get another one, because yeah, really nice. So this is the Casio GAB2100, and this comes in. This is my second. Now that's not second place. This is just number 2 on the list. Now it would make sense for me to go back to this one now. Then, so this is the G-Shock GWM5610. This watch really does have the most bang for the buck as far as G-Shock watches are concerned. Casio and G-Shock really did throw everything, including the kitchen sink, into this. So this has tough solar on here so that the battery will just last indefinitely. It has multiband 6 on here so that, you know, wherever you are in the world, you'll be able to pick up some sort of radio signal to make sure that the time on this is pretty much perfect. And you've got all of the general functions, which I think a lot of these watches have these functions as well. So you've got the world time, you've got 5 independent alarms, you've got a stopwatch, you've got a timer on there as well. And plus with this one on the top display here in the top right hand corner, it has a dot matrix display on there, so it just gives a little bit more functions that you can get out of this. And plus, which I really like, is the fact that you can have this so that it's so that it's day and month, or you can have it so it's month and date. Here in the UK, we have this so that it's date and it's day and month, which is great as well. But this is a really, really nice watch, and these aren't particularly expensive. These come in around about $100, €100, £100. They're all kind of very similar at the moment. But the amount of functions that Casio have thrown into this Casio G-Shock Square model is really one of the best out there that you can get. So that is the third one. Now the next one, which is the one that I always constantly am forgetting the name of this. This is the of course it's the GBX100. So the GBX100 is the Casio Wave Sceptery Surfery style watch. It shares, where have I just put that other one down? It shares similarities with other Casio G-Shock squares in the fact that it has this square octagonal face. But the main difference with the GBX100 is the display on this, and this really is the future of G-Shock displays. The display on this is amazing. Now, I'm trying to get it in certain lights here, and hopefully you'll have seen with some of those other ones, when you get it in certain lights, it is quite difficult to read. Whereas the display on this, the whole display on this is this really nice dot matrix display, which means that viewing angles and even being able to read the time on this in the dark is incredibly easy. In fact, the camera probably doesn't do this justice, so really should just, hopefully you'll take my word that the display on this. If this display was put into a watch like this, I mean, I'd be over the moon. I'd be bloody singing about it. This display has to appear in more G-Shock watches. It really does, and I genuinely hope and pray that G-Shock use this more. But as far as, you know, similar functions, you've got your countdown timers, stopwatch. It will also show you activities as well, because this one will measure your footsteps and that sort of things. And then there are additional notifications and things that you can get on here as well, because there is Bluetooth functionality in here. But with the top button on here, you can then look through your footsteps and your activity through the days and weeks. But there are also additional world time functions in there. And then on this side, you've also got your sunset and sunrise, and also your wave functions. Now the wave functions on this, through the app, you're able to set where you are in the world, and you can have quite a few different presets on here. So if you're in the UK and you like to surf around Cornwall, you might want this to have a different time to maybe say if you're surfing in California on a beach somewhere. So it'll make sure that if you're moving between different beaches, that you can find exactly when your high and low tide is in the area that you're in as well. And then eventually you can get back. So one thing that I do say about this one, so the interface does just need some working on, because it's trying to remember, oh no, that's starting a new one. It's trying to remember how to get back. Sorry about this. It's been a while since I've used this watch. But the user interface does just need a little bit. Oh, please just go away. There we go. The user interface does definitely just need a bit of a tweaking on there, and that's really a perfect example. It's been a few months since I've had this on my wrist, and when you're in one of each of these, you'd think that you'd just keep pressing it and it would eventually come back out into time settlement, into the normal timekeeping mode, but it doesn't. If they can sort out the user interface on this watch and make it so it's similar to others, it would be perfect. But it still fits in my list. I really do think that this is one of the finest G-Shocks that are out there. So I guess this is in 4th place, even though it's not, strictly speaking, my 4th favourite watch. And then the last one on here, which is definitely not last but not least, because I really do like this watch. So this is the Casio GA2000. This is possibly one of my favourites. Yeah, I really do love this watch, and for many reasons. First one being that it has this really nice large analog display, so if you want to be able to check the time quickly, you can certainly do that. And the lume on this is very good in low lights as well, although there is also a button here on the bottom so that you can check what time it is with a light that's on there. There are a few small displays on here, so whether you want to use, well, actually we can go through them here. So you've got your world time, you've got your stopwatch, you've got a countdown timer, you've got your hourly time signals plus 5 independent alarms, and then eventually it will switch back to your normal timekeeping mode. The timekeeping mode between the digital and the analog are synced with each other. So like today, I'd noticed that I hadn't changed this to daylight savings. So you change it to daylight savings on the digital display, and then the hands will automatically reset themselves to make sure that they are aligned up with whatever the digital display is. I believe, and again, correct me if I'm wrong on this one, that the GA2000 was one of Casio's first carbon core watches as well. So within the inside of this, you still have the resin molds on the outside, but here between this green and this grey here, so this is the carbon core. That makes sure that it is super tough but also super light as well, and rather than having, which all of the others have the metal case here at the back, this has this really nice smooth resin case here at the back instead. But also, as far as keeping this so that it's a very comfortable watch to wear, the strap on this is very nice. Now, the strap on all of these, apart from this one, which was that crap that I had to change it, the strap on all of these watches, this is also the reason that I like these watches more so than I like any other Casio G-Shock watches, is that the strap on these is very nice, and the strap on this one does it in the old-fashioned way. So all of these, the lugs sink into the actual watch, whereas on this one it has traditional lugs, so that the strap is completely independent from the watch face itself, which makes this an incredibly comfortable watch. So to go back through them again, if I can remember the order, we have the Casio Mudman, we have the Casio GAB2100. Always forget the name of this one. This is the Casio GBX100. We have the Casio GWM5610 and the Casio, damn it, I've forgotten which this one is. This is the Casio GA2000. But wait, we're not done. I've just shown you my top 5, but there is an honourable mention on this, and it has been the watch that I've been wearing under my sleeve this whole time, and that is the Casio King. So the Casio King, if I can get this, let's see if we can do this in focus. It's actually quite difficult to see during the day because it has this really nice negative display, but it can be difficult to read. But the Casio King is the king of the squares. So these two really do have a lot in common. The displays on both of these are very similar, but with the King, it just takes it up to the next level. I mean, look at the size of that. It is ridiculous If I pick this one back up again, you can see the differences between the two as far as the size is concerned. This one is definitely better. The GWM5610 is definitely better. You know, there's a lot more functions in this. Mainly, the added function on this one is the multiband 6. This one doesn't have multiband 6. You can get this though with multiband 6. There are two versions of this. There is one that is the kind of the international release version, but then there is also a version that's only available in Japan, which you can still get internationally. And that has the multiband 6, but this does a lot of the same. So 200 meters, shock resistant, all of that sort of stuff. You've got your world times, you've got your independent alarms, there is the stopwatch, the countdown timer, all of that sort of stuff. It's also tough solar as well, but what they've done with this one is they've taken, where have I put it? They've taken the module from this. They have improved it, made it ever so slightly bigger, but then they've packed this with additional shock absorbing material in there to make sure that if this is dropped, that the module within there doesn't rattle around too much within the case. In fact, you can kind of see it. In fact, I'll take it with a photo, but around the display you'll be able to see this extra kind of, do they call it alpha gel? I think they call it alpha gel. But that makes sure that if this hits something, it just absorbs shock like nothing. But this is, so they're my top 5, and this is my close 6th, which definitely deserves an honourable mention, and that is the Casio King, which I haven't told you the real name of it. It's actually quite a lengthy name. No, it's not, isn't it? It's the GX56BB, which stands for big and bold. I don't know if it stands for that, but we could just pretend that it does for now. So there we have my top 5 G-Shock watches, and it's as simple as that. You know, these are mine. Now I might open this up, and in fact, yes, let's open it up, because I like to listen to, I like to read all of your comments. So if you're a G-Shock fan, then let's hear your top 5 G-Shocks below, because this is my top 5 list of 2022. It may change in the future. In fact, I might even do some follow-up content on this in 2023 if it has changed. But for now, yes, this is my top 5, and I'd love to hear your top 5 below. Now, just to role play slightly, because I know this is what you're thinking, so I'm going to be you. But more, Linda, if your house was on fire and you only had the opportunity to save one of your watches, this is still me role playing, which watch would you save? Now, this is going to be me. Well, I'm glad you asked, fellow viewer. It would be the GA2000. Just role playing anyway. Yeah, there's just something about this watch. It's possibly the most unassuming of them all. It's a very simple analog watch. It's got some of the digital functions on there, but because it uses more of a traditional lug system rather than these where, you know, they're like baked into the sides of the watch, it's possibly the comfiest G-Shock that I've ever owned. The buttons around the side, they just are in, I mean, they're in the same positions as all of these other ones, but because they're just a little bit larger, they're easier to press. And yes, this would be the one that if there was a fire, I would unfortunately have to watch all of these burn whilst I sat and stroked my GA2000 carbon core watch. Yeah, I love this one. I love them all. You shouldn't have a favourite child. You really shouldn't have a favourite child. And if both children were burning to death, you'd like to... No, I'm not going to go down that route. But this would definitely be the one that I'd save. So yeah, let's hear your top 5. Let's see your top 5 below. Now, I have reviewed or made content on the vast majority of these, so I'll leave some links in the description below as well. I'll leave some affiliate links as well if you'd like to pick up some of these. Now, with Black Friday rapidly approaching. Whether you use my affiliate links or whether you use other YouTubers' affiliate links, especially around this time of year, it's greatly appreciated. It's generally to no extra cost to you. It just helps YouTubers like myself and other YouTubers to continue to make content like this. So if you know that somebody, like I say, whether it's me or it is somebody else, then go and use one of theirs or one of my affiliate links, and yes, it's a great way to be able to support the channel. Sounded a bit salesy then. I really didn't mean to come across as a bit salesy, but you know, it's the kind of thing that you have to do as a YouTuber to help to grow your channel. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Links below, some of my social media links are below as well, but as always, for now, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Got all of those digital functions on there. It just looks like a nice watch. No, I did a burp. Damn it, don't burp. And remember the names of the watches, you idiot. That was a hard one to get out. You'd think I smoke. I don't smoke. Smoking's bad for you. So's sending your kids to school. That's bad for you. That's even worse for you than smoking. There's one thing that I've learned. It is stop messing around with the settings. I keep messing around with them. I keep messing them up. I can't do my clap thing. I've got them all in hand. I can't do it. I can't do it. How am I going to do it? I'm in focus. Shoot. That didn't work. I've got them all in my hand. How can I do this? I can't start a video without my opening signature. How am I going to do this? Put them under my arm? Let's try it. Shoot! Hi.